if you're coming to party and you're coming to dine and to rest, beach area. If you want to interact more with the local, eat street food, go to more local restaurants, like shop at more local shops, center. If you want to be away and quiet and you just want to rest and you just don't want to deal with folks, La Veleta. Hi guys, my name is Sabrina. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is a second part of my 2 months in Tulum series. So on the previous video, I have talked about why I went to Tulum for 2 months, the different things that I went there for, how the country was handling COVID-19, and what my first-hand experience there was. So on this particular video, I'm going to talk about the different things that you could do in Tulum. So if this is your first time on my channel watching my videos, thank you. Welcome to the family. Definitely click the subscribe button. It's right there. So definitely click the subscribe button, and that way you won't miss any future upload. And click that little bell notification button as well, so that way you will be notified when I put out a new video. So basically, Tulum can offer you a wide variety of experiences. You have to figure out what you are there for. So if you want to rest, if you want to party, if you want to enjoy nature, if you want to spend more time on the history side, if you just want an overall cultural experience, which is basically what my domain is, that is there for you as well. So there is a lot that can be done, and I will break it down for you to give you an idea of what it is that you could do. So as mentioned before, Tulum is divided into 3 parts. You have the beach side, which is called the hotel zone, and then you have the center, and then you have the jungle. So the beach and the jungle sometimes can be one, but I like to differentiate that to another section that's called La Veleta. It's a bit further away from the center, and it's the furthest from the beach, but there you have, it's more quiet, it's a little bit less developed, but you will find some really good Airbnbs should you do your research there as well. So let's start with the beach side. So the beach side is basically like a coast, it's like a stretch, right? So that's where most of your hotel resorts are going to be, and that's where usually all your fancy restaurants are going to be in Tulum. If you've heard about any sort of fancy restaurants in Tulum, whether Bach, Rosa Negra, all of that is going to be on the beach side. Like Taboo, it's on the beach side. So basically, quote unquote, the hotel zone, right? So if you want, if you're coming to Tulum and you want to have access to the beach, and you want to dine at the nice restaurants, and you want the occasional parties, then definitely the hotel zone / beach area is going to be for you. But with that being said, that's also the most expensive part of Tulum. And we're not talking like, you know, a little bit of, for Mexico, definitely expensive. We're talking rooms ranging from, the lower tier is like $100, and that's lower. Like, you don't want that kind of quality lower. But mid-tier, which is usually like comfort, where it's comfortable but it's not really luxe yet, is from $300 to $500 a night. And then your top tier is approximately over $1,000 a night. So for Mexico, it's pretty up there. And then you have your boutiques that have like $500 plus items in there, $300 bikinis. So you would have to figure out based on your budget. If your budget is tight, I would not recommend staying at the beach in the hotel zone, because your money is going to blow out very quickly, especially with the dinners and the all the different things that you can purchase in that area. It is going to suck you dry. So the other part I mentioned is the center. So for the center, you have access to local shops, local restaurants. They're not gonna be as upscale as the ones that are in the beach area. However, they're still gonna be really good, and you'll have access to some local food, and you will be able to interact with the locals a little bit more, and have a much more mixed experience where you still have access to the beach should you decide to go, but you are in town, you're interacting with the local, you're having a better understanding of the culture and all that good stuff. So I decided to stay in the center because for what I was there to do in Mexico, it made more sense for me to be in the center and not at the beach. And then you have the jungle. So the jungle is part of Tulum that is still developing, where it's still very jungle-like. There's a lot of trees, there's a lot of vegetation. Let's just call it that. So I have stayed in almost all three parts, but ultimately the center is my favorite, simply because I don't need to be at the beach every day, and the jungle is way too far for me. I don't like having to be inconvenienced every time I need to eat and every time I need to do something. So I'd rather have that available, if not within my reach, but at least closer, at least within walking distance. So three parts: beach, center, and the jungle. So they each have their own different price point. So La Veleta is, depending on which property you stay in, La Veleta is likely to be the cheapest because it is away from everything. And then the second cheapest would be the city, and then the most expensive would be the beach, the hotel zone, right? So that's one. So if you're coming to party and you're coming to dine and to rest, beach area. If you want to interact more with the local, eat street food, go to more local restaurants, like shop at more so local shops, center. If you want to be away and quiet and you just want to rest and you just don't want to deal with folks, La Veleta, jungle side basically. There are different things that you could do in Tulum. So if you are into history and you are into tours, so you have there's an archaeological site in Tulum. I did not get to see that one because when I was there it was closed because of COVID, but towards the end of my stay I did go to COBA. So COBA did open. COBA is another archaeological I struggle with that word, y'all. Archaeological site. I have to say it slow. So COBA is another archaeological site that is approximately 45 minutes away from Tulum. So I did drive to that one and I spent approximately like a couple hours there before I drove again to Punta Laguna, where I went ziplining, canoeing, and I was also supposed to basically go into another cenote, which we're going to talk about the cenotes as well. For history, archaeological sites, and usually they come with a guide that is there to explain to you what the site is and what is the historical meaning behind it and the cultural meaning behind it, and why is it preserved and what does it mean to Mexican history, and especially the indigenous tribes that used to be there prior to Spanish colonization. Oh my God, I don't know how to speak English today. Prior to Spanish colonization. So COBA is a very predominant, used to be a predominant Mayan city, where the locals there still speak Mayan. Mayans used to be the indigenous tribes that were there prior to the arrival of the Spanish. So they still speak Mayan. There are still Mayan temples there, and some of them are still in like good condition, like that were not affected by weather, that was not necessarily, you know, when you go to archaeological sites, sometimes you just get remains of stuff, but they have temples that is still standing straight. Obviously, like, you can't go inside, but you can still see the full-blown structure of them all. So if you are into, if you want more aquatic activities, so there are cenotes. There are a lot, a lot of cenotes in Mexico in general, but definitely Tulum is full of them. So I've gone to about 3 cenotes, but I don't have like videos of all of them, but I did go to Grand Cenote. It was closest to me. It's approximately 10 minutes. I was supposed to go to another famous one, but the weather was getting really bad, so doing that drive was not necessarily a good thing, so I ended up skipping that one. Next time I go to Tulum, I'm definitely gonna go to Cenote Suitun, but I did go to the Grand Cenote, but it's basically like a trapped body of water, and it's not a river, it's not a lake, it's not a beach. It's just a trapped body of water. Some of them are shallow, but some of them are also very, very deep. So if you're not a swimmer, that is something to keep in mind. Usually they don't really have that many animals in them, but they will have maybe some turtles and every now and then a fish or two, but it's not full of aquatic life. And so you could go to the cenote, you could go to the beach, you could visit the archaeological site, and there's 2 within reach. So there's one in Tulum, and then there's another one in COBA, and the furthest one would be Chichen Itza, and it's approximately 3 hours to go from Tulum to Chichen Itza. Cultural activities, you can try street food. So I'm gonna insert the link below as to where exactly on the map they are located. I could not find that information firsthand. I had to literally research it on the ground, because I've been wanting some street tacos. Like, I wanted some street tacos, but every time I ask someone, it's like, okay, where are the street tacos? I know there are street tacos here, so where are the street tacos? They're like, well, if you walk like this way and then you turn that way, and then you're gonna find it. So one night I was like, you know what, I got nothing to do, we are going to find those street tacos. So I started walking, and then everywhere I go, I ask a local, and then they'll tell me keep going, and then I ask another one, they say keep going, and then just like after a while, nobody knew exactly what it is that I was trying to go to, and then I kind of found it by accident. I found it by accident because like where it's tucked in, that's not exactly where they told me to go, but they did lead me like close to it. Not exactly there, but close to it. So ever since I found it, I marked my location, saved it, and then every time I wanted street tacos, I would go there. So the street tacos are super cheap. They're like 10 to 15 pesos, which is about 50 to 75 cents per taco. So depending on what type of meat you get and all of that. So the price varies depending on the meat. So chicken is different from pork, and it's different from beef with some vendors. And then you can find some marquesita, which is a Mexican sweet. It's like a how do I explain this? It's like a crispy crepe, but with stuff in it, with stuffings, with sweet stuffings like Nutella, banana, strawberries, and caramel and things like that. And they make it, and usually the locals like it with cheese, so they will put cheese in it. I don't really like it with the cheese, so I don't add cheese to mine. They make it to your liking. So there's that, and then there's the corn, and then what else do they have? And then they have a few other street stuff, like typical Mexican street food. They will have that as well. So you could eat some street food, eat at a local restaurant, you could visit the archaeological site, you could go to a cenote, you could go to the beach. So now if you really want to turn up, it's like, okay, I want to turn up, what do I do? Okay, when I was there, which was August through October, turning up was not really a thing, because most places close at 11:30 the latest. The most turn up would happen on the beach side, so you probably go to a place like Taboo that will have like really loud music and people would be somewhat turning up, but finding clubs that were there that were open specifically for that was not a thing when I was there. So things might change, but ultimately a lot of the clubs that used to be the turn up spot were closed during that time because of COVID.